So today's video, I'm going to talk about mountaineering and mountain biking and some of the things that you can benefit from these activities and why you should be doing the same. I should let you know, I got a new camera that has a very annoying autofocus. So that noise that you hear, that lens movement, yeah, my apologies for that. Hopefully you'll be able to peer on top of that. But it's annoying. Anyway. You see, over the holidays, I was actually meant to hike the Rwenzori Mountains with a couple of friends. I couldn't go, and I remember we're having lunch, Christmas lunch, and when you're having all those conversations, and I mentioned how I missed the opportunity to hike the Rwenzori, and one of my people said something, and it was really interesting. She asked me, why exactly do you climb mountains? What are you looking for? Is there Jesus at the top of the mountain, or is there money at the top of the mountain? I laughed out. I mean, it's interesting the sort of comparisons people would use for some of the benefits that you would get from mountaineering. And I figured, how many people out there are probably wondering the same, looking at some of the things that I do and thinking, what is the benefit? Why do we do this? So I figured today's video, I should spend some time and sort of like take you through some of the benefits, and here it goes. As an entrepreneur, there's certain skill sets that are a must-have, and unfortunately, just like everyone else, there are a couple of skill sets that I've been struggling with over the last couple of years. And one of the things that you can do for yourself is to try and learn as much as possible whenever you can. Last year is when I actually started actively hiking and mountain climbing. I have to say it's been a rewarding experience for me. I'll take you through what I actually go through when I'm actually up on these hikes. It's pretty much like running a business. You come up with a plan, you're going to climb this mountain. That's the idea. You get excited. If you don't have the right gear, you go shopping gear, you meet the team. Everything is exciting at that point. You're looking forward to the hike. The hike day comes, fun, exciting. You're prepared, you're geared up, you're excited, and you get to it. You get on the mountain. Start climbing. Usually for the harder mountains, the hike usually takes about 5 to 6 hours, or even 7. I mean, we've done a hike of 12 hours, Sabino. That was painful. Elephant Hill took about 8 hours. I mean, you can see how long that takes. Back to the point. You're excited about the hike, just like you're excited about the business idea that you're actually going to work on. Start the climbing. It's the first day of work. The first day when you start working on your idea. It's not just some day, but it could be a month. So it's that exciting period. For the first 1 hour or 2 hours, it's exciting because there's a lot to see. You're taking pictures. You're getting into the hike, and then after that, for the next 2 hours from there, now that's the sort of like the testing time. So now your body starts getting tired, and remember, going up, altitude sickness is kicking in depending how high the mountain is. So now you start getting tired, but you're not yet there. If you compare that in the startup space, that's the point where things start stagnant a little bit, right? They're still exciting, you still have the energy to push, but things are getting a bit slow. And then you get to the point, actually I think that is what I would call the point of despair. You get to the point where now where things become harder, right? Your body is giving up on you, your knees are hurting. Depending on how fit you are, your feet are cramping, because I can tell you those hiking boots are heavy. Now that's the point in the startup phase where things get boring. Alright, it happens. So business is slow, you're dealing with challenge after challenge. Usually in my entrepreneurial life, that is the stage where I always quit. Okay, that is the stage where I'd get bored and then come up with a whole different idea, and then I'm chasing something else completely. So I literally just move on, and I can tell you that was it's a very, very bad thing as an entrepreneur for you not to be able to persist and push and see something from creation to finish. That is something that I was struggling with for a very long time. And when I started hiking, when I started climbing mountains, every time I get to that point where my body is giving up, out of breath, I start to regret why I'm doing it. The thing about the mountain is that you actually have no choice. Going down doesn't make sense. I mean, there's no way you would be. Usually that point comes at around like 3/4 of the way. You've already done 3/4 of the journey. There's no way you can really stop when you have a third to the finish line, which is a little bit different with business, because business, you never really know when you're going to hit that point, the summit. You never really know when, how soon or how long you're going to hit the summit. So when you're at that point where you're questioning your decision, where your body is giving up on you, where you're running out of breath, your knees are hurting, your feet are in pain, that's usually the point where you easily give up. And what mountaineering or what hiking or climbing mountains has taught me is that I have the capability of pushing past that point, which is something that I never had. I mean, from way back, every time I got to that point where things became boring and hard, it was easier for me to, you know, drop the whole thing and start something else altogether, which is a very, very, very bad thing for an entrepreneur. As to what I have learned or what I've managed to achieve through mountain climbing is I've been able to learn how to push myself past that point, the point of giving up, and that has been a very great for me. I can see the results of that even in my everyday work. The times I'm handling a boring task and I get to that point where I'm thinking, you know, screw it, man, I can do something else, I can leave this, and surprisingly I find myself sticking in there, making sure that I actually get to the end. You know, the thing about a mountain is, I've been telling some friends of mine, usually when people ask me, why would you climb a mountain, why would you go through all that torture, usually what I ask them is, have you done a project at work which is taking you quite some time, let's say about a week or a month or I don't know, and at the end of the project, what is that feeling that you get? You know, you get that feeling of achievement, of success. You've achieved, you've managed to complete this project perfectly, right? Now imagine compiling all that 1 month, 1 week or whatever period in just a couple of hours, because it's a couple of hours of struggling, of pushing your body to the limit, and then you're literally on top of the world. Well, not on top of the world, but on top of whatever area you're in. If you're at the Margarita Peak, you're on top of Uganda, because that's the highest point in Uganda. Imagine that for a second. Imagine that feeling that you get after that project that you've worked on for a very long time, getting that feeling in just a couple of hours. Now that is what summiting feels like. That is why we push to get to that point, to get to the summit. I mean, personally, a hike is not a hike unless I summit. So it gets to the point when you're up on that mountain and all you can hear is your heart beating and yourself breathing. And what that does for you is that you're actually able to attain a certain level of focus and concentration. And naturally, concentration is actually one of the things that transforms one's school of thought. And it's not a surprise that actual research says mountaineers are known to be intelligent and very keen people. You can actually benefit from mountaineering is it improves your self-esteem when you're being one of the people that are usually put down. When you're literally at the summit, you're on top of the world, you're literally on top of everyone, and that does a lot to your self-esteem. These are some of the benefits that you can benefit from mountaineering is you can attain a great level of self-awareness. I mean, from that point where there's stillness, it's just you and nature. Your chain of thoughts is you sort of like have a clear mind where you can sort of like concentrate and, you know, focus on yourself. And what that does for me personally is I get to think through some of the goals and the plans that I have, some of the things, some of the challenges that I'm going through in life, and that is sort of like my thinking point. It's sort of, you can easily compare that to meditation. One of the other major benefits of mountaineering is actually problem solving. You see, most of the trails that we do in Uganda or in East Africa, like Elephant Hill, so these trails are already done, but there are situations where you get to a point and you can actually see where you're going. That happened when we were hiking Elephant Hill. I got to the point where the trail was rocky and I couldn't tell where people had passed, and it was so cloudy and windy that I couldn't see up ahead or couldn't see anyone at the back. So I literally had to try and figure out where my next step was, where I was going next. And being in that situation where you can get lost and die, stories have been told of people who've got lost on the trail and died. So you sort of like have to think and put yourself at a whole different level in terms of problem solving. Personally, that is one of the things that I've benefited a lot from mountaineering. If you're considering mountaineering or hiking, you can just comment down. I can introduce you to the group that I hike with. So those are some of the ways how mountaineering has benefited me as a person. I don't know what are some of the activities that you do that actually benefit you in your daily life apart from the physical fitness and all that. Please do share with me. You can leave a comment down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you don't miss any of my next videos. And you can like and share, follow me on Facebook, on Twitter. My handles will be right down in the description, and I'll see you on the next one.